Hello, everybody. Welcome to Risk Management. I'm going to start them off. We're going to do all these videos with PowerPoint presentations for a reason. I'll be up in the upper corner there. You can see my ugly face, but you don't have to look at it that much. Rather, you focus on the slides because it is a well-known fact that a better way to learn is to have something presented in different formats. So you're going to be able to see it, and you're going to hear me say it, and hopefully you'll read the book. So and that's our goal here. I know you might think your goal here is to pass the class, but your goal here should be to learn this stuff because you're going to need it. Risk management is very important, and the whole safety field is going that way. So you better get on that train. So this one here is the introduction to the course and a little bit to the instructor, but pretty much if you've watched my other video about it, you kind of know a little bit about me too. But we're going to get going on this right now. This is not too long, so won't bore you too much. So, course of risk management, of course. The book is required, Risk Management Tools for Safety Professionals by Bruce K. Lyon and Georgy Popov. It can be purchased at the American Society of Safety Professionals, ASSP.org. That's where I bought mine. You probably buy it on Amazon. You guys know all that. So what is risk management? In occupational safety, risk management is a formal process for identifying hazards, evaluating and analyzing risks associated with those hazards, then taking action to eliminate the hazards or control the risks that can't be eliminated to minimize injury and illness potential. Why is risk management important in safety? Risk is the main cause of uncertainty in any organization. As a safety professional, you can help your organization identify and manage risks before an incident happens. And we all know that's what we try to do. While your organization must comply with regulations and reduce its injury rate, those metrics force a rear view mirror or reactive perspective. Applying risk management principles can help you proactively reduce risk, advance safety, and drive a return on investment from safety programs. All very important goals. So that's me, Mr. Puel. There's my phone number, 918-839-6990. And there's my email. And it's a 3 credit hour class. So be prepared to spend about 3 hours a week on course material, not including assignments, just as if you were going to class. The big time you'll save is going to and from class. Of course, everything's on Blackboard. If you have trouble accessing Blackboard, try switching browser to Chrome. I did, and it solved my problems. And a student in last class had the same problems, and it just works better on Chrome. So no handwritten assignments will be accepted. Use a word processor or Blackboard. The schedule will be the same one that Mrs. McConnell uses. Each module is available from 8 a.m. Sunday morning, 8 o'clock Sunday morning, until 11:59 p.m. the next Sunday. So you have a whole week and an overlap on a Sunday. The first module, of course, is accepted because that starts in the middle of the week. So that's why it'll be shorter too. Each module will have instructors' comments as the first or top item in the module. You should complete each item in the order shown. Now, in some classes, there's a lot of things, but in this class, it's probably not going to be too many in each module things you have to do. But if there's a lot of them, and they're all going to be shorter than the other, then if you only have a couple, they're probably going to take up more time. Each item has a notation in square brackets after it as follows. Videos will indicate running time, like that will be 12 minutes, 34 seconds. Assignments will show how many points you're on. Quizzes and tests will show the number of questions, the 50Q. Documents will indicate pages, 30 pages. And I'm doing this in all my classes, online classes, to kind of give you an idea. Like if you're in the video, let's see how much, if you have time to watch this video, you can maybe help you plan your time better. I doubt if any of you are going to sit down and do 3 hours on a stretch at one time for this class, although you might. And if you do, then fine. Just to kind of give you an idea of just give you more information, basically. So by taking this class online, you're indicating that you're responsible enough to do this work on your own and on time. Late assignments, quizzes, tests, etc., will not be accepted. You can call me or text me if you have questions about the assignments. If your number isn't in my phone, I won't answer it. So leave a message on the phone or text me. I get so many bogus phone calls, and a lot of them come from around here. Supposedly, we know they don't. So chances are I won't answer the phone if I don't know who it is. So if you answer it, and then I'll have your number in my phone. So next time you call me, I'll answer it. So again, what is risk management? It means different things to different people, and particularly to different occupations too. When you woke up this morning, look at the day ahead. Did you think about the risks you might meet? Probably not, unless you're a skydiver. Maybe you would. Yet calculating risk and managing risk are part of the human experience. We do it all the time. For some, risk means danger. For others, reward. In the investment world, risk typically is equated with reward. Now we're going to put our money in this thing, and we're going to have a little bit of risk involved, but we want to figure that out so we can get more money out of it. And it happens every day. In the insurance industry, it's equated with loss. Generally, in the workplace, risk is defined as a function of hazard and exposure. In the insurance industry, of course, they want to make sure that they figure it out, that your age and health and stuff like that, so you can pay them more than they're going to pay you. For instance, an unguarded chain and sprocket 10 feet off the floor working surface is not considered much of a risk, even by OSHA. If it's 10 feet off the floor work surface, nobody can touch it, so not a problem. But if it was 3 feet off the floor, it would be. So here it is, the same thing, but in some cases it's a risk, in some cases it's not. When you invest money in a mutual fund or retirement fund, your agent will or should ask you how much risk you're willing to take, so they have an idea how to invest to meet your needs. Generally speaking, and this doesn't apply to everybody, the younger you are, the more chances you could take, because if investments go up and down, I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. So you can lose some money, and generally speaking, the longer you have, the longer you have, the better chance you will recoup it. When COVID hit, my IRA took a deep nosedive, but it made it back after that. So when you get a life insurance policy, the insurance provider is risking that you will live long enough to pay in more than they will pay out. So they're going to want information about your health and lifestyle. In this class, we're going to focus on risk to employees in the workplace, although we'll probably look at some other areas as well. So let's take a look at some everyday risks, compare some everyday risks. What's more dangerous, you think, your washing machine or your vacuum cleaner? Not too sure. Washing machines are more likely to injure you, but clothes dryers are more likely to kill you. I've never heard of anybody being killed by a vacuum cleaner or a washing machine or a dryer, but on the other hand, floor care equipment causes more injuries than either washers or dryers. So what's more dangerous, lightning or hail? Don't stand under that tree. Lightning kills about 42 people a year in the USA, but there are very few recorded instances of hail kills, the last being a baby in Colorado in 1979. So obviously lightning is more dangerous than hail. Note that you are slightly more likely to be killed by lightning than to die in a plane crash, but you are more likely to be killed by a meteor strike than by lightning. And that's, how do you figure that? Because how many people have been killed by meteor strikes? Well, here's how they arrived at that situation. A very large meteor or comet could wipe out mankind, whereby lightning generally kills only one person at a time. So it would only take one big one to wipe out mankind and kill everybody. So that's why they figure that's why the hazard of it's so high. The likelihood of death is very high. What's more dangerous in the backyard, a trampoline or a swimming pool? Trampolines send nearly 100,000 people to the emergency room each year, but cause very few deaths. More than 1,000 die each year in swimming pools. And unfortunately, I think a lot of those are small children. So if you have a swimming pool and children, be careful. What's the most dangerous age? And I don't mean like the 1920s, but I mean your chronological age of yourself. Well, after our 20s, our mortality rates increase each year. So the most dangerous is the oldest. The first year of life, though, is more dangerous than any other age below about 60. So the older you get, mortality rate increases. That makes sense. What's the most dangerous ride in the amusement park? About half of amusement park deaths are related to roller coasters, 1/4 to water rides, and the remaining 1/4 to others. So it's roller coasters. What's more dangerous, bees or sharks? Well, I don't want to be bitten by either one of them, or bitten by a bee. I've never been bitten by a bee, stung by a bee, but I've been stung by a bee, but never been bitten by a shark. In this case, danger comes in small packages. You are 50 times more likely to be killed by a bee than by a shark. What's more dangerous, a car or a gun? You're substantially more likely to be killed by a car than by a gun. Highway deaths exceed around 40,000 annually. Gunshot fatalities around 33,000, but that consists of 18,000 suicides, 14,000 murders, and only about 1,000 accidents. What's more dangerous, driving drunk or driving stoned? And no, you can't make this a project for this class. About 2% of the driving population is drunk, but they cause about 40% of auto fatalities. Many drunks also test positive for drugs, so comparing these numbers is difficult. Also, alcohol metabolizes fairly quickly, while other drugs can be detected for weeks after ingestion. Generally, those considered that driving drunk is more dangerous than driving stoned. So what's more dangerous here, texting or drinking coffee while driving? Well, it's more dangerous to text than to drink coffee while driving, because you have to look away from the road to the cell phone to text. While you're drinking coffee, you don't have to look away as much. What's more dangerous, living on top of the San Andreas Fault in California or living at the foot of Mount St. Helens in Washington State? Now, here's some disasters. Earthquake in China a long time ago, 830,000 people. Volcano in India, Indonesia, only 92,000 people. Earthquake caused tsunami in 2004, 220,000 deaths. Volcano Krakatoa, 1883, 36,000. So you can see these earthquakes caused a lot of fatalities in these events. So earthquakes are far more common than volcano events. So it's probably more dangerous to live on top of the San Andreas Fault than at the foot of Mount St. Helens. I lived in Southern California for 28 years, and we felt several earthquakes, and some of them did a lot of damage, but not to us or where we lived, but some places that knocked stuff, off tables and stuff like that. And ours, where we live, we just we didn't hit that hard. We felt them, but except one time, I think it was the Northridge quake. My daughter was listed as a casualty because she was home alone, and when the quake hit, and the apartment we lived in, the bedrooms there was a door between the living area and the bedrooms, and so she felt it. We always told the kids, there's an earthquake, get under our dining room table, because we had a really big, sturdy dining room table. So she got out of bed and she was stumbling down the hallway, and she grabbed the door and fell and smashed her fingers in the door, and trying to get under to the dining room table. And she went to the emergency room, but it wasn't that big a deal. So nothing was broken or anything, but she was listed as a casualty of the earthquake, even though she kind of self-inflicted. Anyhow, what's the most dangerous occupation in the United States? You're probably thinking coal miner, crab fisherman. Nope. It is President of the United States. There haven't been that many presidents, but 4 of them have been assassinated. Abraham Lincoln, James A. Garfield, William McKinley, and John F. Kennedy. No, I wasn't around for the first 3, but I was a senior in high school when John F. Kennedy was assassinated in November of 1963. And I distinctly remember they hooked our intercom system up to the speakers in the classrooms, and they talked about the grassy knoll right off the bat. They were sure that shot came from the grassy knoll, and I still believe one did. So be sure to get the book. There's a lot of good stuff in it, and you're going to need it. Also, you might need this book in your career. Okay, if you see a video entitled Mr. Puel's Experience throughout this course, this is your instructor talking about some life experience that I've had, a little diversion from the subject matter, something that I did frequently when all classes were in person, and the students liked it. These are not mandatory, not graded, so if you don't want to watch them, fine. I'll try to keep them within under 10 minutes or so, just whatever, different things. So, written assignments. Now, some of these assignments you're going to see and are just written. You're going to get a Word file, and you have to answer the questions on that. And people do it different ways. Sometimes they just take that Word file, download it, answer the questions on it, upload it again to Blackboard, and that's okay. So if it's a written assignment, I had just on all this assignment's going to have on there's questions you got to answer. I don't need the questions, but they're okay if you leave them on there. But I need to know if you do that, I need to make sure it's clear where your answer is and where the question is. I don't want to be looking around for it. Separate your answer from the question, starting on another line or making your answer in red. Let's say that's a good way to do it. But even if you don't want to put the questions, keep the questions on the paper. Always keep the question numbers. If they're misnumbered, it's just going to be a pain in the butt for me to correct that. So, all right. Now it's okay not to quote entire paragraph if the full answer is contained in less words, but beware. If asked who must be trained in something and you answer employees, but the answer is employees who are involved in the process, then your answer is not correct. So if you want to shorten it up, that's okay, but make sure that you answer the question. So CBS videos. CBS is a chemical safety, well, CSB. Yeah, okay, I said CBS, but it's CSB. Can't read my own writing even when it's typed. So what do we learn from them? Well, these are real accidents where real people were killed and injured. These are the things that happen when safety is not given the proper attention. You can never coast in safety. So you're going to see some of these videos. You're going to watch some of these and probably do an assignment on them. And they're good because they're real life. People make mistakes. Companies should recognize this and put procedures into place that take that into consideration, such as two people do a particularly dangerous or critical job. I was a nuclear weapons specialist in the Air Force, and had a strict policy, no lone zone around nuclear weapons. And so when there was a weapon out in the bay, we had officers, and then we had the bays where we worked on them. Nobody could be in there by themselves. And we had a counter on the door. Every time you went in, you clicked it up. Every time you come out, you clicked it back down and showed how many people were out in the bay. And if it went below 2, buzzer went off. So the culture of safety around nukes is very, very good, very ingrained. And we took that very, very seriously. Interlocks to other safety devices cannot be easily bypassed or defeated. And you have to understand that training is an ongoing process. You can't say something, okay, you're trained, that's it. No, it can happen sometimes, but generally speaking, it's an ongoing process. Near misses should not be ignored. Frequently, the thought is, phew, that was close, then move on. These should be investigated as if they were accidents, or they will be. Now, I know most people don't want to do that. They figure no harm, no foul, but that's not true. They should be investigated. Or like I said, as if they were accidents, or they might end up being accidents. It's said that OSHA regulations are written in blood. Unfortunately, the CSB videos support that saying. From my personal experience, and I've been a lot of times, I've gone to the somebody was hurt. I go to the plant at night. A lot of times I was on call 24/7 at OK Foods. I get called in. I'd go to the plant first, try to find out what happened, and everything else. And then if I'd usually go up to the hospital, see how they're doing, and get there to find out what they had to say. And I can't tell you how many times I've been told, well, we've always done it that way. Or I've done that 1,000 times without any problem. It only takes once to get seriously injured. So don't accept either of those flimsy excuses for not doing something right. And they're not lying to me. It's true. They've always done it that way. That could be true. Or they've done it 1,000 times. And that could be true. It doesn't make it right. So that's it for this introduction. Now you can get a good look at me. Anyhow, welcome to the course, and do call me or text me or email me if you need to. Be reasonable about it. I'll be reasonable too. And in the meantime, be safe.